Welcome back. I'm Quickshot, joined with Inax taking a victory over Vitality. First, let's talk about the game a little bit. It felt like Vitality had some good plays early on, but once we hit the mid-game, it seemed like FLICKR just got into gear. What was it like from your perspective?
I mean, I think I played a bit bad on top. I should have definitely flashed the kick. I mean, I take that personally, but I think overall the draft was really weird. I think they went for the Kai'Sa into Vedius, which is probably unplayable if we just play around it, and also I outscale her to Oblivion, so I don't know what they were going for. I think my team really smurfed, like the rest of the map. Me and Dreams were playing well up until the top fight, and then in team fights and stuff, I think I was just doing my job. Yeah,
it definitely felt like the top half of the map had this one in the bag. But listen, let's zoom out a little bit. You've played on stage now 3 games, you've won 2 of them. Looking forward, there's still 9 games left in the split. I mean, what are the goals for you and FLICKR?
I mean, obviously getting to playoffs is the big goal, right? And you know, going finals is like dreams and stuff, right? But for now, we just take it game by game, focus on the next game tomorrow, and just play our best. And if we get to playoffs, perfect. So that's the goal.
Well, listen, Inax, you've played with a lot of confidence already. You know, you're showing up on stage. What's it like for you stepping into the shoes of Forgiven, replacing him on the squad, now in this position where the team is starting to pick up wins? Like, there's a lot of pressure, but you're currently finding a lot of success. So how does it feel?
I don't really feel that much pressure because it's just League, you know. So it's the thing I do every day, 16 hours a day. It's just like scrims, and obviously at Worlds I played on this obviously at Worlds I played on this stage, and I'm kind of comfortable with it. I like it, and it's like a boost for me, you know, just having fans and having a crowd and having the games matter a lot to everyone, including me. And obviously my goal was to get to LEC, and I'm here, but it doesn't really feel like a dream. It's just like I just need to win. That's all I'm thinking about.
Absolutely incredible. Inax, I can tell you that you were one of the candidates for Player of the Game, but
I don't know about that.
The winner was Abedage. Tell me why he was Player of the Game.
I mean, he's playing Victor. Like, this guy is too good on that champion, honestly. He's really good on that champ, but he played really well. I think everyone's stepping up, like everyone, me, Dreams, Abe, like they're just playing really well.
Absolutely fantastic. Inax, it is a pleasure talking to you. And I got a feeling we'll be doing a lot more for the rest of the Spring Split. Congratulations. See you in a minute.
Actually, immediately. Thank you, Trevor. And welcome back, everyone, to the LEC Spring Split. There we see our reigning champions, G2 Esports, who look to defend their back-to-back titles. But last week, their winning streak got destroyed by Misfits and by Schalke. And ahead of their game against XL Esports, we wanted to take a look at why this happened, what was their downfall, with Yamato, who's going to explain what's going wrong for G2 in these games.
Honestly, the games weren't that bad. People thought they were trolling. G2 said themselves they're trolling draft and so forth, but everything started in that early game. G2's early game has been a problem, and it started in the Misfits game where we had the dive, and then we just got going. The first thing that happened looked kind of decent. Caps died, but the trade-off was that Jankos, of course, got a triple kill. With this triple kill, he's ahead. Braum is also getting a lot of cash here in this situation, but the key thing that happened that was maybe missed was that Sona's TP got cancelled. And when your TP gets cancelled, that means you're a liability in case you get dove. If someone dives you on top side, you don't have that extra life as a top laner. We see the continuation here, if we can maybe speed it up, because this is just 2 thick guys just punching away on a Rakan. I guess we'll get to see it. Here we have the follow-up on the dive, as I mentioned before. Sona no TP, so it means she has no extra life, no TP back to catch. This means that it's going to snowball the matchup big time. Dan building that lead already. And then, you know, Braum is recalling, has a lot of money, as we mentioned before. And then Caps, I don't know what he's doing here. This was the big troll moment that really put the nail in the coffin. He's walking up, decides, I want to fight this Rakan. Why? Not sure. Ends up dying, walks up too far, not sure why. I can't explain it. Usually it's like, oh, he wanted to see us or something, but nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and for Caps, it was his worst game on record. 7 deaths, that's a record at 15 minutes, rather. But the thing that irked me the most about the G2 performance is they didn't really change much of that behavior going into the next game, because similar mistakes were made versus Schalke 04.
So I think this whole thing about G2's early game, it seems like it's something that they want to improve. In the Schalke game, we had that dive moment that happened on bottom that just ended up in terribleness. Perkz, I don't even know if that's the word, terribleness, but nevertheless.
Awfulness.
Perkz walking down the bot lane with the prio. Good that he gets the prio. Lee Sin is in position. They're looking for that 4-man dive on bottom side. They spot out that Gragas is not in position because his blue buff is off. you see this wave, this beautiful wave, MVP minions, because the champions that G2 have, they all have skill shots that rely to hit in order to make damage. The Nautilus Q, the Ryze Q, the Lee Sin Q. And we see the TP comes in, Mikyx dies. On top of this, well, what happens is, the continuation is Perkz burns his flash. It's going to be key in what comes next. Usually, Rakan and Ezreal won't have prior, but here, because Nautilus is dead, he can push in. And then the TP is going to land here onto the mid lane, which is going to end up killing Perkz. And this, all of a sudden, with Ezreal being ahead, is just a game over moment. And if it wasn't G2, I would say, you know, FF fast.
Yeah, great point. I mean, Abadari even gets away there, which is super annoying. But I do want to kind of put the brakes on now, saying that Caps is a horrible AD carry and he should swap back to mid. Here we see the comparison between weeks 1 and 3 and 4. 4 was an anomaly, but we only had one of those weeks. We don't know how it's going to evolve.
The question is, like, how are they going to bounce back? Did G2 awaken? Have they awoken like a beast here? That's the big question. But it's very easy to get carried away because we're on like a week cycle. Every opinion changes so fast. But if we look back at Caps' performance in the last 3 weeks, he was in contention for one of the best ADs in Europe. But now, after this week, all of a sudden, everyone puts him in D tier, C tier, whatever.
How much do you read into that? Is that, you know, the Senna not being so much readily available anymore? What's up with that?
That's a good point. Senna nerf was a big deal. Caps loved that Senna. Aphelios, mixed performances, one good game, but that was with the Soraka backing him up. So maybe he just needs more protection, or maybe he needs to start playing some AP champions with more mobility, maybe an Ezreal.
I mean, it was a point that came up in the beginning. Now, Caps had the same learning curve as everyone else, because everyone was learning Senna and Aphelios, but we'll see how everything evolves. When we round it up for G2 Esports, they're about to play XL. I'm from the opinion that it's so easy to say, these are our champions. They come from a Worlds Finals. They'll bounce back. But I think the inherent danger is, what if they feel the same way and they don't get there together for this game?
You know, the question is always, because we've been saying this for 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
Always, if they screw around, they're going to bounce back. There's going to be a time, maybe in the future, I hope in the future, where we're going to say they're going to bounce back, and they don't. So the question is, are they going to bounce back? Did the G2 Beast awaken? I hope so.
Has it? We will see. We're expecting G2 to come back with a vengeance here in week 5. Let's see if they can take down XL.
Thank you very much, Shox and Yamato. G2 versus XL. G2 with 2 losses on the board now. Of course, XL sitting just below them in the standings, and you can hear there are some boisterous fans here in the audience. They stopped as soon as I say it. They stopped.
Yeah, I've heard that there's a lot of XL fans that came in today to support XL.
They changed the chants. I've been asking this for 3 weeks, and finally we have a different chant. It wasn't very inventive, but I'll take it.
So heading into draft, I do want to kind of follow up on the questions that the analyst has posed, particularly around what comfort champion Caps is going to reach for, because we really only seen him have good looks on things like the Senna, and I'm curious what they'll use their blue side priority pick for. Will it be something like the Aphelios? Will that be taken away from him? And will we see a Soraka ban or a Sona target ban? How frisky is Wunder feeling after they finally had those tools taken away?
Has to be the question. Soraka being commonly banned on the red side, and once again by XL alongside the Syndra. Ezreal and Rakan, however, the bans from G2 alongside Jarvan. Not bans I am too used to seeing. Rakan can be in there, Jarvan sometimes, but Ezreal ban seems very out of the woodwork.
This does mean that Aphelios and Ornn, one of those champions, will slip through this ban phase.
And Caps is probably having Aphelios flashbacks from last week, but not going to be given to him. XL will ban it, so will we see Wunder go back to the Ornn, or will we see a first pick AD carry here from G2?
Actually surprising. I thought for sure that with the Aphelios and the Senna kind of gone from the champion pool, that Caps would either reach for something like a Lucian or possibly even go back to the Gragas Yasuo days of old.
Well, there are different possibilities. Now with Gragas getting through, you have to expect Caedrel to go towards that. The most picked jungler at 20 picks so far this split. And Caedrel, a very good early game jungler, very good at setting his team up for success. Team it up alongside a Varus here for Patrik.
I think that this does put emphasis on maybe getting Torre his Braum, just because that's usually what they run with this Varus, and it's one of Torre's signature champions, is very fast and furious. The Ornn flex pick, as well as the suspected Karthus jungle.
Yeah, we have seen Karthus jungle in the past here in the LEC, and we had Ender give a great breakdown on just how powerful it is. Very quick at clearing, very good at leeching all of the XP you can get in the jungle and then having impact in teamfights because of that global ultimate.
Okay, I like this set a lot better because it's still technically a flex pick. My concern about the Yasuo potential hover is that if this does go into an Ornn mid, is that Ornn can neutralize a lot of the assassination potential, because usually when you have Gragas Yasuo, as Feb even put it, you can't look away from your screen, because if you're distracted for a single second and the cask finds you, you can immediately be deleted. But because they don't know where that Ornn's going to go, it feels like it'd be too early for Expect to pull the trigger on possibly looking for the Mikyx Yasuo. Oh, we have Mikyx and Mikyx in this game.
Yeah, we've got Mikyx.
Oh, no.
Both of them are so fine. Just so that you know, there's the Yasuo ban from G2, perhaps thinking, of course, the set could go up towards the top lane, could be a support set. We've heard rumblings of it. We saw it in the LCK, but expectations has to be that Expect takes that up into the top lane. We'll see what XL decide to ban for their final ban here. They got rid of an AD mid laner, and they're going to team it up with another one, the Kiana, their final removal from the pool.
It does mean that they are kind of pushing themselves into a double AP composition, because they're thinning the mid lane champion pool if Mikyx doesn't want to play this set of finding in another AD mid.
I see that, I see that. I think they're also pushing G2 towards double AP as well, because they've got the Karthus jungle. We'll see. There's the Braum ban that you said perhaps XL would lock in. And now they have their support, and we think they're mid laner, but of course, as you said, that flexibility of the set and the flexibility of the Ornn means there's still a lot up for grabs. Expect XL to pick support here.
Ooh.
And your ooze was short-lived. Nautilus is going to be the lock.
Man, I'm writing in pen, and I started writing Nautilus, and then I went to Thresh, and now I have to go back to and I crossed it out. Come on, Torre.
You can't write until they lock. That's the rule. I sometimes accidentally write the player's name instead of the champion every now and again, so it's like, oh, they picked Patrik in the bottom lane.
To be fair, if you were going to pick two champions that you would trade Torre for, it would be Nautilus and Braum.
Yes.
I think they're kind of like his signature champs. So obviously reaching back for comfort there, as if that gets locked in, it's an Ornn mid.
Is it an Ornn mid?
Or is it an
can
Ornn
it be an
support?
okay, I don't think it's going to be Ornn support, although that is a possibility.
Really? You don't think they would play Ornn support?
I think they would. I just don't think it's the best use of Ornn in the current meta. You probably want to take him up towards the mid or top lane, get as much experience on him as possible. And maybe it is. No, okay, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about
Don't
it.
talk about hovers, Matic.
Yeah, you said it. You haven't written anything down yet, Fosk, either. So it's going to be Leona as the final pick. That's a huge amount of CC. That wombo combo, Bullet Time, Requiem, Solar Flare, Call of the Forge God. Oof, that's devastating already from G2.
I like to call it line damage. If XL ever find themselves in a choke point, the amount of damage that can just reach them at any point, like you said, if it's raining down from the sky, if it's flying through your team in a bullet time, or an Ornn horn,
oh, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, yes! Yes, 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 yes!
Countered.
What do you pick into Ornn?
Vayne.
Vayne.
I've heard this floating around scrims for a while now. We will see where it actually gets locked. We do suspect that it's going to be the Vayne following the Ornn around. Because the thing about Ornn mid is that he has a lot of really great matchups. He matches up really well into a lot of the mages that were being played, even the assassins, because again, he neutralizes that burst. He can itemize either the Sunfire or the Abyssal Mask to counter them out. But he has a lot of struggling bruiser matchups, and Vayne is one of those champions, not a bruiser, but when you throw her up into the top lane, she ignores your resistances and she just tries to shred you down. So eyes on Mikyx to make this Vayne count.
He has been popping off. Remember his performance on LeBlanc versus Fnatic, made a highlight play there. We'll see if XL can do it, because a lot of the time we've said in the past, when you draft against G2, what do you have to be able to do? Surprise them. And I'm pretty sure this Vayne will have at least given them cause to think. G2 with very much a wombo combo, very much an everyone press R composition. XL looking for the outplays, looking to sidestep, to dodge around with that Vayne, harass G2 down, and then get the chase going.
Yeah, that dreaded moment though when G2 do decide to pull the trigger and press R. It feels like there's always a timer when a Karthus is on the game, but we will see what Mikyx can do.
That we will, that we will. What Caedrel can do in the early game as well. See if he can shut down Jankos and keep XL in this game in the early game. Because if they fall behind, you feel that this is G2's game to lose. Lots of chants, lots of cheers here. XL fans in the house. I can't quite hear them at Frost. Can you hear them? Very quiet.
Okay. Well
I
done.
applaud you, that was good. The one G2 fan in the audience just shouted by themselves.
Okay, let's start with G2. This is going to be hard. They're very loud.
I think we wait.
I like how they're taking turns, though. That's,
Yeah, it's polite.
that's the British
When you chant, you have
politeness.
to be polite. You let the opposing team chant, and then you remind them why they are so much worse than you, and you're going to beat them.
Okay, I do want to talk about the fact that we did finally get an Ornn mid. We've been seeing it explode globally, and I expect to continue to see it be a staple of the rest of the day, as well as the LEC. It's really hard to focus, actually.
There we go. We got to it in the end.
I give up.
It's all right. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Ornn. Here we go.
There we go.
The politeness they have hushed for us. Froskurinn, talk to me about Ornn mid.
The unsealed spellbook is being taken this time around and into the resolve. What I think is interesting is that Perkz actually opted into the minion dematerializer, which we haven't seen a lot of Ornns actually reach for. So it tells me that he's potentially looking for a W max, or at least wants to contest some of this initial wave push and not lose control here. But very early on, you can already see that Mikyx is being very aggressive and trying to force him out of this lane.
You could even see Mikyx pulling that next wave of minions up to try and get them all to focus fire one of the red minions to try and clear out as many of these minions as possible before Perkz can get any CS.
And ranged matchups can be really devastating for Ornn. Now, one of the cool things about Ornn mid is just the flexibility and the skills that he can max. So Nemesis in melee matchups, and I think also in one ranged matchup, has actually been maxing his E, his charge, and he uses it to wave clear and kind of the setup and the escape tool, especially if he's against a lot of CC. Nuke Duck in a ranged matchup maxed the Q, but a lot of Ornns in solo queue max the W. So there's so much versatility about what you want to do. I expect Perkz here. I know we kind of talked about that if you have the minion dematerializer, you really want to contest push, that maybe you go for a W max. But against Vayne, if he's feeling really bad, he might have to max the Q just to try to snipe out CS. They're drunk, I don't know.
Caedrel is on fire. G2 are terrified, I believe, is the chant.
They're all over the board with the chants right now.
It's allowed, it's allowed. You can chant as much as you want. Perkz down to half HP in the mid lane, has the Doran shield and the refillable potion, what you usually do on Ornn when you know you're going to get harassed down. You see him popping through those potions, trying to clear out the wave. Now Jankos, already level 4, farming up a storm. 24 farm to 12 on the side of Caedrel.
Yeah, Ender already did a great breakdown of Karthus and how we tend to think about Karthus as only being a late game champion, but he's actually strong at multiple stages in the game, especially in isolated skirmishes, and his level 4 gank potential, because he gets access to wall, is actually really strong, which he's going to show here, not necessarily to set up a kill gank, but simply to give Perkz some space here for a nice reset.
Perkz will be able to back, has the teleport on the unsealed spellbook, so can get back into the lane, but Jankos, the difficulty with Karthus is if you don't shut him down early on, that first Requiem can really be game-changing, because you think you're winning a fight, you think you're getting ahead in a lane, and then Requiem comes down, you get half your health, well, not half your health, like a quarter of your health just chunked out, and it becomes a very different affair. Wunder has harassed Expect down in the top lane, but Expect has a pot, has a Dwarven shield, will be able to heal that up in just a moment's time.
I think one of the nice things about Karthus, especially with kind of the recent, I'm going to say buffs into the jungle. Oh, hold it though.
Expect haymakered in the direction he thought Wunder was going.
We'll call it that. But that ward actually did spot Jankos coming into this lane. Karthus' ability to move very quickly through the jungle and then maximize the fact that you have more uptime on your camps, and now that there's more golden experience into the camps, while also then simultaneously being able to participate in ganks post level 6 with a global ultimate, I think it's just like the ultimate best of every world. Which is why I think that we'll continue to see his priority rise again, not just globally with things like the Ornn mid, but in the LEC specifically. You should get used to seeing a lot of Karthus. And it used to be that you had to have pushing waves to keep Karthus protected, but feels like if you thin that jungle champion pool, he gets to just do as he pleases.
Seems to be the case so far this game. Caedrel went back, got the Predators, going to try and protect his jungle. Did manage to steal away one Razor Beak camp, but that should be back by the time Jankos gets around to it. And that's one of the benefits of the quicker respawn timers in the jungle. Karthus, as you say, if you got counter-jungled in the past, you'd fall behind quite quickly. But here, doesn't really matter, because he can just go do his top side, and then by the time he's finished, go down towards a bot once again. Maybe even look up towards the top lane, as Caedrel is just around the corner here. Could get a gank off on Wunder. Perkz just hit level 6 in the mid lane.
So we talked about how it was really important that Perkz would be contesting for push by taking the minion dematerializer. Now that he has that, one of the perks about Ornn mid is his ability to rotate very quickly top or mid, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. Perkz is coming up behind Jankos here, and they're really putting the pressure on Excel's top side of the map.
Good timing from Caedrel there. Knew that Jankos could be on the top side, so arrived in the lane and kept Expect safe.
I did also peek in on what ability Perkz is matching in the matchup. I'll hold it there.
Stun's going to land here in the bottom lane as Mikyx goes in. Patrik takes about half his health. They're going to trade back. The root lands on Caps. Not going to be able to do too much more. Teleport used in the top lane as Expect joins the fray once again. But Jankos has just hit 6. And Expect now has no TP and no ward and no safety as Wunder goes in. The Wall of Pain connects. Expect dodging away from the Skittles, who uses the flash. But that is a summoner down, and the wave is in not a good position for him at all.
And this is going to be a very easy repeat maneuver, not just for Jankos, but kind of the next time that Perkz ever does find himself with the ability or the space to roam. Expect has a massive target on his back, so we're going to see how carefully he plays this, and maybe if this forces Caedrel to play in his back pocket.
Oh, Mikyx knocked up the Ignite ticking. Mikyx, there's the Requiem. Goodbye, sweet prince. Fast blood to Jankos.
And like you said, Medic, you have to be so aware when Karthus is in the game. You can't ever fall behind that 25%. And to answer the question about what Perkz was maxing, it's Q. So taking into the range matchup, putting extra points into that Q to help him farm from afar and not take so much damage from Vayne.
Felt a little bit greedy there from Mikyx. Did have the flash, did have the heal. We'll see. He steps just a millimeter too far forward as the Spire comes up, takes a tower shot, gets knocked up, ignited, and after this, there's no escape.
Yeah, it feels like the unfortunate mistake was really the tower shot coming down. This didn't even need the Ornn Horn.
Jankos gets a Dark Harvest stack, building up on those early on. The mid lane matchup is still going in Mikyx's favor in the pure 1v1. He's about 10 CS up or so, and he's getting that little bit of an advantage. When he gets the Blade of the Ruin King, it will be harder for Perkz to lane into him. But now with G2 taking the Dragon, they're actually going to push in towards the jungle of Excel. Expects to try to trade here. No flash. Does have the Showstopper. Mikyx takes a lot of damage. Showstopper could be the end of Mikyx, but Expect decides he doesn't want to go any further for it. There's a control ward in that bush, and 3 members of G2 will force Expect back.
And Caps using his ultimate to make sure that Mikyx and Jankos got a very quick and easy out to approach this tower. Now, it is being traded for the Herald that Excel have the numbers advantage over, as well as the mid priority in mid lane, because as you said, Mikyx is still winning this mid lane matchup despite falling down to Karthus.
I guess one of the benefits of having 280 carries that can build Blade of the Ruin King is if Excel can get in an even position in the mid game, you are going to be able to shred through things like Perkz. You'll shred through Wunder as well, and through Mikyx on the Leona, because you have all of that extra health damage. But right now, Excel setting up for a mid lane play. Karthus, quarter of the time left on the Requiem. Expect's going to keep him busy for the moment. Cap still pushing in the bottom lane. G2 able to defend their mid lane as Wunder came down.
I think it actually makes Caedrel's responsibility in this composition really important as the Gragas, because like you're saying, when you have 2 ADCs, you really just want to create enough time for them to continuously hit their opponent and whittle them down, which is why the disengage from Gragas Cask is going to be really vital here with as much engage that G2 have.
Well, Patrik having the cleanse as well will help with some of that self-disengage. Expect will act as a bouncer. He's been used to the pits. He'll try and get in the way of G2 when the fights do begin. But for now, Excel are going to take the first turret of the game as the Vithel charges in. And with it, they have about 1,000 gold lead. That will be evened relatively soon if G2 are able to get back down towards that bottom lane. Mikyx caught up here once again. He still has flash, he still has heal. He'll use one, he'll use both. Perkz trying to lock him up, and the chase is on. Perkz tanking it up. Jankos with the Skittles. Taste the rainbow, Mikyx.
Yeah, Jankos is just now about to have his ultimate up there, so you could see Mikyx in the panic, immediately burning the heal, thinking that the Requiem was going to be up, but in the end, didn't play respectful enough and is punished. They don't even need the Karthus ultimate that is just now available to finish off that kill, and that's twice now that Mikyx has overreached and rightfully been punished by G2.
Definitely feels like he needs to be burning these summoners earlier, because you can see it's not that difficult of a setup. All it is a searing charge into the Wall of Pain.
To be fair, that is a not fun hitbox.
Sure. But as a hitbox, you should know. Especially when you're playing Vayne, you have things like the tumble. Mikyx trying to dodge out at the end, but Jankos able to connect with those lay wastes.
And I think that deceptively large damage was the Ornn Q on top of a Skittle, and not just the Ornn Q. I'd have to get another look at it.
Well, for now, that combo is working out well. Perkz on his way to a Sunfire Cape. Actually looks like he's going Balmy Cinders, maybe.
Help with his push, because remember, it's really about getting the push priority in the lane, so you can look for those rotations.
I'm trying to wonder what that Sapphire Crystal is for. Could just be for extra mana in lane, could be to spam out spells, could go up towards a Glacial Shroud later on as well.
I think it'll be... Nicely done, Expect. Obviously, former G2 member, so some, what's the word, camaraderie?
Camaraderie?
Camaraderie. Some words are really difficult for me to say.
I mess up a lot of them, I'll be honest, but you were close enough on that one that will give you the benefit of the doubt.
I was going to say, it could also just be the start of the Abyssal Mask if he does go Iceborne or go for the Abyssal Mask.
I'm just debating
Iceborne,
if you want Abyssal Mask in this game.
I think Iceborne feels good because you are against 2 ADCs, even though...
Oh, Caps! Chain of Claw, that's beautiful. Caps goes golden, but they should be able to take him down. There's the dredge line, there's the kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Perkz is getting knocked back. Perkz is going to fall as well. Excel! Strike twice on 2 sides of the map, and Jankos flashing forward with the wall of
Turn it around!
Mikyx going to try and turn it around. He's got the tumbles, he's got the dodges, but can he get away? No, he can't, Frost. No, he can't. Flash from Expect away from Mikyx as he flashed forward with the Zenith Blade. And in the end, ends up being a 1-for-2 in favor of Excel.
Excel saw their moment. They tried to take it. Unfortunately, Mikyx does fall in the end, but Patrik has been the big winner in kind of these cross-map skirmishes because he's getting so much free time on these towers and these minion waves. This Ferris is actually having a lot of gold funneled into him, and you can see it starting to open up in the CSs.
Perkz is going.
That's a deep teleport. Oh, no.
Not more to be said about that one, I'm afraid.
That was a Jesus take the wheel moment.
At least he didn't give Perkz an assist, I guess. Small mercies. Mikyx around the mid lane as Caps has come towards it. And as you say, Patrik has had some gold funneled into him. He's now finished the Blade of the Ruin King. Mikyx still sitting on parts.
So I just wanted to compliment Torre. I was hoping that we would get the replay to time the dredge line. I believe he timed it exactly perfectly out of the stasis, which, I mean, can be hard to do. Caps was sitting on the flash, so if he wasn't perfect, Caps could have survived this potentially. So we get another look at it. Here we go.
Caps goes golden, and Torre right on time with the dredge line. You could have looked for the auto attack there as he comes out of the stopwatch, but that's always a little bit tricky.
I just think the animation of the
flash.
Yeah, the auto coming down, it was right to go for the hook.
I agree with you. Mikyx tries to do what he can, but there's only so many times you can tumble, and then Patrik's like, oh, it's fine, I'll clear the wave.
No, Observer's got the tape.
And then the TP comes in for... So Perkz is respawned by this time.
Okay, so what the Observers are showing us is that...
Patrik was playing for plates.
Yeah.
And that was greedy. And Perkz gets... Jankos gets another kill. 3-1 now on the Karthus. Finished the Sorcerer's Shoes. Got the Runic Echoes. 109 CS. Compared to 85, and he's 1,500 gold ahead. But in the mid lane, there's a 200 gold difference, so I guess that makes up for it. No, so let's talk about bot lane. 1,400 gold the lead for Patrik.
Okay.
So that's where the imbalance is between these two teams.
Here's my issue.
Okay.
With bot lane. We talked about kind of like execution of team fights, how responsibilities on Caedrel. If he can keep his 2 ADCs alive, it feels good. The problem is that Jankos is really fed right now, and there's nothing Caedrel can do to protect his 2 ADCs from the ultimate that is absolutely going to destroy them when he presses R. Caps? It was an accident.
No. Patrik flashed Chain of Corruptions.
No, I know.
Okay.
But Caps threw bullet time backwards.
Oh, I didn't see that. I just saw the flash.
It's okay. We'll forget.
Yeah, it was an accident. Caps appeared for just a second. Wunder in the mid lane as well.
No, Observers.
This is cruel. Maybe he very close together. Torre going in. Here's the call. The Forge God comes out. Torre locked up. The Forge God comes back, and even with the showstopper, they can't save Torre. Now Expect on the front line. He's dead as well, and G2, they found the answer in the mid lane. It was Excel who engaged, but G2 come out on top.
And now they're going to just muscle their way over into the second spawn of the Rift Herald is Wunder. He needs to be careful. Obviously, if he goes over that wall, that's a free condemn.
Jankos now has 11 pages in his death note. He is looking pretty darn destructive.
I'm going to say that in his death note, Excel is written, and
Each player can have a whole page to themselves right now, and you've still got 6 pages to spare. They get the Rift Herald.
I actually just need to see him press R because I want to see how much base damage it will do to Mikyx and Patrik right now.
If the crowd shouts really loudly at Jankos to press R, it might work. That wasn't really loud. Come on, guys, you tried. You tried.
It was a valiant effort.
He does also have noise-cancelling headphones on, which would probably obscure whatever they were saying. Just hear a rumbling through his earpieces. Okay, 15 minutes in, well, almost 16 now, even in gold, but G2 have double dragons, Infernal and Cloud. You've got Jankos, who has a Rift Herald and 11 stacks on his Medjais. It feels like G2 are in control of the game.
And fights are really scary for Excel. I think right now they're pretty dependent, like, it has to be an unfair fight, because if everyone 5v5 is stacked up, again, I think the Karthus just can win it at this point in the game, and I don't necessarily see that getting much better. But if you can use either Expect on a side lane with Set maybe, or maybe you find a pick that you can sweep someone out of position with Caedrel's cast, so no longer using it defensively to reset a fight, but offensively to find your moment, then maybe there's wiggle room right there for Excel, but we are kind of approaching critical mass for panic mode, in my opinion, for Excel. I think a fair fight is just really terrifying for them.
Right, here we go. Mikyx jumping in. There's the solar flare, but Torre goes golden. Jankos on his way. Torre will flash. Dredge line gets himself out. Patrik with the Chain of Corruption lands. Call of the Forge God only connects on the tail end, and now Rift Herald is popped in the mid lane. XL won't be able to defend this. This is at least going to get the first tower you have to feel, and we'll see if it gets any more. Caps will be there to help it shepherd it on its way. And Mikyx is down in the bottom lane. Expect is up in the top as XL try and play a little bit of a 1-3-1.
And it's because Excel recognized that not only did they lose the fight there because Torre took so much damage, but again, they can't fight a fair fight, so... Oh.
That was unfortunate. Oh, Mikyx fighting against Wunder in the bottom lane. Wunder was the one to go in. There's the Requiem. Let's see how much it does. Mikyx, oh, so low already, but he's still trading. He's dodging out Mikyx. That was so fine, Mikyx.
Okay, hold on. Set is reaching around right now. He's looking for the deep flank. They don't have cast, so I think this puts a damper on it.
This is just about pressuring G2 so Mikyx gets a bit more time.
Without the cask, it would mean that Expect is entirely reliant on the flash and the ultimate, but that is exactly what Excel fans needed. They needed a miracle play from their mid laner, Mikyx, right there, to not only survive the Karthus ultimate, but then to take down the fight. And you should start to see this from Excel for probably the next 10 minutes, that they're going to be splitting up the map. It's going to be playing a hit-and-run League of Legends of sitting in either a 1-4 or a 1-3-1 position.
With Ocean Dragon spawning in 5 seconds, you can see Jankos is already well on his way there. Karthus can solo it at this point in the game, pretty easy for him to do. It's going down towards bottom lane to start it off, to help Perkz get that minion wave up. XL will try and get some river control if they can, but they're going to go the long way around. This tower will fall. It will be 3 for 2 in favor of G2, and now we'll see, with the cask almost back up, with Chain of Corruption almost back up, will XL keep fighting around it? Solar Flare doesn't connect, but the Zenith Blade does. Flash away from Caedrel, but the chase is on. Caedrel goes golden. This fight is going to restart here. Death Charge coming out. Expect in with the face breaker, but it's all on Patrik. It's all on Mikyx. Mikyx's already on the back line. G2, Mikyx still alive. Expect's going to take him out with a showstopper. Torre chased off Wunder on Patrik, but the Dredge line connects, and now it's all on Patrik trying to do what he can, but he doesn't have flash, he doesn't have cleanse, and he doesn't have hope in hell to get out of this one. He tries to take down Wunder, but the double comes in. G2 rip XL to pieces in the jungle.
And they did it without the Karthus ultimate.
Oh, Mikyx. Oh, Perkz, he flashes. Jankos is there. Perkz is going to die. Mikyx, can you trade? No, you can't.
And that's now 19 stacks in the Death Note. So what I was saying is that Jankos' ultimate hasn't come off of cooldown right now. So you had we're going to say, a window where Excel are like, the Requiem's probably not up. Let's stick our heads into this Drake fight, see if we can maybe fight a pick, because this is kind of the one window where if we do group up and 5-5, we're not going to get absolutely blasted by Karthus ultimate. The issue is that they still lost the fight pretty handedly, with some consolation prizes picked up on the very end, like Set with his drive-by.
And you feel like if there had been a few more summoners available for XL, maybe they would have been able to escape, and at the end here, Perkz face plants into a wall. Now, Expect is actually getting chased out by Wunder as we watch this. Mikyx dies, of course, and now Wunder and Expect are trading. Wunder still with the World Ender. No flash on Expect, no escape for him, really. Wunder on a killing spree, 5-1-1 on Aatrox.
And that might be the nail in the coffin, because we talked about how Excel did the right thing, that they kind of found the one window where Requiem wasn't going to be available to try to look for a grouped up fight. But once that ultimate is up and available, they want to play out into those side lanes. Yeah, it's still dangerous because you are still competing with that global pressure, but now that Wunder is pretty handedly winning in that side lane, means that they lose that extra win condition, or option, I guess, is probably the more appropriate word.
Yeah, it becomes very difficult for them. G2 clear out mid, now they come up towards the bottom lane. And we'll take this. It's a 3,000 gold lead. It's going to be about 4,000 when Wunder takes this turret alongside Caps. And it just getting harder and harder. Well, yeah, 4,000. It's harder and harder for XL. They need those picks. They need those little 1v1s, those 2v2s if they can find them. But Jankos is just so strong. Wunder is so strong. And Caps has been quietly scaling up as well. Yes, he's only on an Essence Reaver building up towards an Infinity Edge, but he will still do a lot of damage if that bullet time connects.
I think he's just kind of like the tower pusher.
Yeah.
It's like, come here, ADC. Push down the structure. Come here, ADC. Let's do the Baron. He's just a walking stat bot.
Yeah. He was the guy, that was the lane we were looking at and saying, well, XL have the advantage. Patrik was 1,500 gold ahead. Now, there's 300 gold between them, but 1,700 in favor of Wunder in the top lane. 2,300 in favor of Jankos in the jungle. So much gold sitting on G2, so many stats.
So it's really suffocating right now for XL. They want to try to play side lanes. It's hard to do with Karthus, so we're going to have to watch or keep our eye on the team to see how creative they get, again, about how they maybe want to try to get back into this game. I personally think at this point it's pretty cruise control for G2, but we have seen Mikyx try to flex some of his outplay, but I feel like at this point it has to be a pretty massive outplay by XL, because if the formula stays true, G2 can start to walk through.
Well, let's have a look at what we've got in terms of summoners for the next fight. Flash and Cleanser up on Patrik. Torre looking for the connection here. Torre's caught out. Not where he wants to be. He flashes over the wall. Chain of Corruption is going to connect, but there's the bullet time. Gargoyle Stoneplay will keep Torre alive. Good disengage. Jankos is done. He's shut down. That's 10 stacks off. Supreme display of talent. Sorry, not a showstopper used. Dearie me, that was an entirely different champion. As XL trade 1 for 1, Jankos was able to get the Requiem in after he died.
Yeah, really important that Torre managed to survive there, and the fact that they got the kill off of Jankos, and like you said, took away a lot of those stacks and a lot of that damage, so that is a bit of a sigh of relief for XL.
He's still at 11 sacks though.
It's better than 19.
That is true, that is true. We see Torre just steps in, thinks he's safe because expecting Patrik around the corner, misses the dredge line on Jankos.
I mean, the key thing here is the fact that they do get Jankos in the end, so at least it's something there. Expect just immediately turns around and follows up on the massive cast damage that Caedrel set up. Okay. Oh, by the hair on his chinny chin chin.
That was very, very close. Expect does die at the end of it as he jumped in to try and disengage Mikyx, but a 1-for-1 trade is what XL would have been hoping for coming into that. They're 2,500 gold behind. Infinity Edge now complete on Caps. 2 Ginsu's Rage Blades, 1 on Mikyx, 1 on Patrik. Oh, hello. Caedrel realizes that Wunder was fishing, trying to see if he could find a connection, because there's only 50 seconds left on that dragon.
Yeah, and it's the soul point, and that's the scary thing.
Oh, it's going to be so hard to get through G2 if they have an Ocean Soul as well. Perkz, Wunder, Mikyx, all going to be unkillable, basically, and Jankos can just stand at the back.
I mean, I'm going to say that I feel pretty actually, they're pulling Mikyx. I was going to say, I feel pretty confident that XL were just going to give it up because Mikyx was just hard pushing top lane, but they are starting to pull him, so... The final stand, if XL get wiped here, it's obviously probably going to go into the Baron. If they lose big here, it's going to be the Drake. So this is crisis mode.
Torre backing, not going to be spotted out, I don't think. Ooh, do they know Wunder's there? Do they know? Do they know? He slipped in. I know they haven't had vision on him recently. There you go. Oh, now he knows. That's an unpleasant surprise to find waiting in your jungle.
And meanwhile, the Drake is being taken by 2 members, so it is going to be the Dragon Soul for G2.
There we go. All that regen, all that extra health and mana in these fights. It's going to be very, very hard now for XL to do anything about this G2 lineup. Ghost used by Perkz. Switched over to the teleport, and the chase is on. Call of the Forge God coming out. Perkz! Oh, Wunder's been engaged off towards the side. Mikyx trying to shred through him before anything can really begin. Perkz coming in as well with the Ignite. Puts down the singing blow, but a good flash from Mikyx. Wunder still on the chase. Caedrel comes in. Mikyx flashing forward with the solar flare. Caps is already on the killing spree as Torre dies, and here comes the Requiem. Oh, goodbye, XL. They lose 2 quickly. And now Expect and Caedrel are running for their lives. Caps is on the chase. Make it rain and take it all the way to the bank. Caps You're delaying the inevitable here, Caedrel. Gets the stun. Expect now trying to chase Caps in. Expect has the doesn't have the showstopper, does have the face breaker, trying to trade in as the haymaker comes out. And Caps will chase him out. G2 win it in 4-1. And now we're knocking on the base of XL.
Didn't even need the Ornn ultimate. Not even close.
Sometimes you got to style on your opponents. You do that by totally whiffing your ult somehow. But
he really split the wickets.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. G2 now take the inhibitor down. Jankos is back up to 19 stacks. Caps has a Molten Edge. There's an Obsidian Cleaver on Wunder. The gold is just rattling into G2's pocket.
That is a lot of different ways to say that this is bad news bears.
I'm saying it's pretty dunzo. There's a dunzo manifesto here for XL. They are miles behind.
You say that, but we keep saying that XL would need kind of the miracle to turn these team fights, and they've been given some pretty interesting miracles.
They've been given some opportunities. Yeah, he just mistimes it.
It's a very small...
Yeah, it's a very small projectile, very difficult to see. You can see Mikyx.
I actually want the Perkz like reaction cam. I just want to see what his reaction was to that moment.
Mikyx survives for so long here, but in the end, gets locked up with the solar flares. He tumbles into it. Torre dies towards the bottom side, as you can see. And when the Requiem comes out, look at those health bars just disappear. It's absurd. Jankos is so far ahead. And this is why we're starting to see Karthus jungle a lot more. Just take over a game. Now Mikyx's looking for Mikyx. Mikyx on Mikyx action. The tower's still here. Mikyx goes in with the Zenith Blade, and down goes Mikyx.
I'd say Mikyx really won that.
Yeah, Mikyx definitely did. Wunder now trying to win the fight behind the turrets, and the rest of G2 are on their way. Jankos comes in, Chain of Corruption lands. There's the knock back into the face breaker, but Wunder goes golden, pops the stopwatch. Here comes the rest of the chase. Jankos getting onto Patrik, worked all the way around. Wunder's going to fall for this, but they get the AD carry. That's the only target that can really get to Perkz. And you can see, Perkz doesn't care. Perkz doesn't give a damn. They get the stun onto Jankos, but it's Perkz who's tanking the tower and taking no damage for it. Jankos rooted in place, but that's another shutdown going to him. Oh, just laugh it up. You got Ocean Soul. You got a Sunfire, Bramble Vest, and Abyssal Mask Perkz. You can't hit your ults, but you can tank a tower down well.
So it feels like G2 are playing with their food a little bit here. Basic team fight, obviously they've been setting up for the Baron, but they know a free buffet when they find one, and it was open season underneath this tower. My favorite part is how we trade Wunder for Patrik here. This poor little Varus is just looking at his team, just like wombo comboing this Aatrox, and then poor Patrik, that is the wrong party.
It's so difficult for him, and G2 did a very good job of focus firing the AD carries, but Perkz has taken 4 tower shots already. That's 5.
He's spending like an hour under this structure.
7. That's 8. That's 9. That's 10. It's 11. That's 12. They do more damage each time they hit you as well, just as a note. He takes about 13 tower shots before he walks out.
I don't want to see damage.
I want to see damage taken.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see how much damage the tower did to Perkz.
Not that much. I'll be honest, we can see Jankos fulfilling the Karthus dream this game, topping the damage shots in the fights, and stacking up his Medjais, sitting at 25 stacks. He's got a full Death Note. He's written the novel, and he's ready to send it to the publishers.
Those are rookie numbers. He needs to pump them up.
You can't. Whoosh. Here comes, oh, he hit the call of the Froskurinn this time, and there's the bullet time. We talked about the Wombo combo, and that's the Womboist of comboists you've ever seen. Wunder once again behind the tower with Requiem. Doesn't kill him. Does half of both the health, though. And because of that, XL are forced out.
Yep. That's all I got.
Yeah. That's all XL have got as well. This is going to be the top lane tower going down. The Baron power play so far has been 3,500 gold, and I don't think G2 want that to stop anytime soon. They'll push in for the Nexus turrets. Perkz tanking it up once again. Doesn't need to. There are minions here, but we'll see if a miracle could come. But I don't think it's going to happen here for XL. Facebreaker doesn't hit. Tower goes down. Jankos stands between them all. The cast doesn't connect. And this will be it. G2, they're going to go for a fountain dive because they always do. But they're back. Oh, they didn't do it. Back to winning ways. Back to winning ways. Good game from G2.
So, unfortunately, with that type of composition, you are put on a clock, and really unfortunately for XL fans is that G2 sped up that clock pretty quickly by funneling so much early gold and kills onto Jankos.
It was just very difficult for XL to do too much. You could see what they were thinking. The Vayne pick didn't quite work out. Did have lane presence, but Mikyx ended with 7 deaths. And as soon as the Karthus gets ahead, just press R before the fight even begins. I think Patrik ended with both a QSS and cleanse to try and get out of all the CC that was being layered on top of him.
Of course, big hugs from Perkz to expect there across the board. And a very well-deserved, I think Jankos is going back for seconds on the high fives.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's greedy. Just takes all the CS, takes all the kills, takes all the high fives.
It's a bounce back week for G2.
Yeah. And I think this was the expectation, right? I don't think anyone thought they'd come in here and perform perhaps as poorly as they did last week. Some people may have hoped, some people may have thought maybe we'll have new challenges at the top of the league, and we still do. But G2 just showed us they are still here to party.
I think it's always that discussion about experimentation when you get to our top teams. We've seen it from Origin, and I think we have seen it from G2 kind of reaching around at some of their drafts in particular. You know, Origin trying to speed their games up when they were playing through early mid-game in, I think, week 3 against Misfits. And I'm just kind of curious, you know, where that line's going to be drawn. I think Yamato brought up a really good point that there will be a time when G2 loses and then they don't bounce back. It doesn't seem to be today. I don't think anyone expected it to be today, but it is always something to keep in the back of our mind. Was this a deserved loss because their weaknesses were exposed, or was this a loss because they were trying new things out on the stage and overreached on that day?
Always a question you have to ask. And another question we ask is, who was your key player of the game? Jankos, Perkz, and Mikyx are your options. For now, we're going to hear from Jankos, who Frost says was player of the game.
It's definitely Jankos.
Thank you very much. Definitely Jankos is what Froskurinn says. Before we get to finding that out, let's talk a little bit about the game. Felt absolutely in control. What was it like for you from the early stages until you had full control?
Well, I think that compared to last week, we played our game more. And even though we still made some mistakes, it just felt like the game was unlosable. And it's also because, you know, last week drafts were like fine.
So Grabs ruined it last week.
Yeah, we kind of stole draft, right? Because OG played their own Karthus, so we couldn't really win with the Grabs draft, so we just stole it.
Well, there we go. That's a huge call out to Gihoto. He's somewhere backstage. You mentioned the Karthus, and actually I've prepared a highlight reel of some of your best plays on Karthus. I think it is going to play over your shoulder in a moment. So when this comes up, talk me through, you know, how rewarding is it playing Karthus? Here it is behind you, my man. You can turn around and take a look. I mean, let's see. Talk me through the talent here.
So it's really important that you focus super, super hard on pressing the R button, because if you press this at the wrong time, it's actually, you fail, right?
Right.
And then the champion is super skilled, so you can't actually, like, it's very hard to actually press the R button. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, turn to the camera. Tell the camera fans at home, how do you play a good Karthus?
Well, you just farm, so you don't actually leave your jungle. And what's really fun about Karthus is that your opponents hate playing against it. Right. So they will become depressed if you pick it, so you won the draft as soon as you log it in. And then it doesn't really matter if you hit the Q or not, as long as you can press the R button at the right time.
At the right time, because you kept there. Listen to that. Claps and cheers. Okay, one last question. Of course, last week, 0-2. You finished the first round robin with a 7-2 scoreline. Let's talk about this race for first and all the other new hungry rookies, Mad Lions, Misfits, Rogue. How real are their chances at making finals?
Finals or playoffs?
Let's go finals. Let's go finals. Let's go real hardcore.
No.
Ooh, tell me why.
I mean, I think that overall Misfits, for example, surprised me. I think they are very good, and they are playing well as a team, and I think they have a good read on the meta. And I think how we played against them was really cringe, and we should never lose to that team. And that's why I don't think teams like OG or Fnatic should lose either. And based on that, I don't think they will make the finals, because I just think the individual talent in these teams, including our team, is higher. And then about Mad Lions, I'm also pleasantly surprised, because I also think they are playing very good. They did lose to, you know, Misfits
the
today,
only team above them was Fnatic, and of course we don't have too much time to go into Rogue. Ladies and gentlemen of Berlin, would you like to know who the key player of the game is? Yeah? It was Jankos! Congratulations! Yeah. There we go! We'll come back with Origin taking on SK. See you in a minute. GG, Jankos.
Hey, I'm Genx, and we're playing against OG today. Scalings.
charged up.
Hello, everybody. Let the game begin.
This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? I love the sound when it breaks. Can you hear it?
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.